Hello all, welcome back to Editorial Analysis and Answer Writing Practice at 9 p.m. Friends, if you are watching this video series for the first time, then please watch my intro video given in the playlist to know how to participate in this answer writing program. It is open to all. Last week I was not able to do the editorial analysis. However, from now it will be continued. So, what we are going to discuss today? The recent Indian Express as well as EPW articles were discussing about the usage of fertilizers, importance of fertilizers, issues surrounding fertilizers in India. So we will discuss this topic from our UPSC exam point of view. This topic assumes more significance because of its direct relevance in the GS3 agriculture part. Now, fertilizers. Why it is important? Fertilizers plays a crucial role in the overall plant development. Put it simply, essential nutrients are given to the plants through applying fertilizers. Nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, they are very instrumental in the plant growth. Nitrogen focuses on overall plant growth and development. Phosphorus focuses on withstanding the stress. It helps in the root development. Potassium helps in the overall plant development, but specifically it helps in the process of photosynthesis. So this nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium along with other micronutrients plays a crucial role, but this becomes very important and extensively used also. Now these fertilizers, though it is very important for the plant growth, it cannot be applied in a random manner. There is a specific ratio in which it can be applied in the Indian soils. The ratio prescribed by the government is 4:2:1. So 4 parts of nitrogen and 2 parts of phosphorus and 1 parts of potassium. In this ratio, we have to apply the fertilizers. But in reality, because of excessive subsidies given to certain fertilizers, the fertilizers are applied in a skewed manner. The national current average ratio of application of NPK is in the ratio of 10.9:4.9:1. The ideal ratio is 4:2:1, but reality today it is 10.9:4.9:1. Right now, this excessive use of fertilizer has created a lot of issues that we will try to understand one by one. The first point, see why it is excessively used, because government is giving a lot of subsidies. The overall subsidies given for fertilizers in India is around 1.5 lakh crores. The highest subsidy goes for nitrogen based fertilizer, that is urea. Since urea, the MRP itself will be fixed by government. Assume that a 40 kg bag urea, the actual production cost, if it is 1000 rupees, but the MRP price that government will fix. 1000 rupees worth urea, government can fix it as 400. The remaining amount, government will give subsidy in the form of subsidy to the fertilizer producer. So Guna fertilizers, I produce it for 1000 rupees, but government says it should be sold only for 400. I will face 600 loss. Government will give that to me in the form of subsidies. So because of this, for urea alone, this much advantage. So because of this, what happens? Excess amount of urea fertilizer is being consumed by the farmers. Now what is the consequence? When excess amount of fertilizers is consumed, number one, government expenditure is going to increase because government is heavily subsidizing the fertilizers. So government's expenditure is going to increase. So already government is facing huge deficits. Now the deficit will further increase. Problem number one for the government. Problem number two, what is the problem? The problem is when you are consuming more fertilizers, these are all salts. These salts will be dissolved in water, will settle in the soil. It will make the soil more saline. It will make the soil over a period degraded. The soil productivity will be affected. The soil fertility will be affected. The land will become degraded. Already, as per the ISRO's land degradation atlas data, almost 1/3 of the India's land area is getting degraded. So land degradation will become a huge threat in future. So soil fertility will be affected. What is the other problem? The other problem is these fertilizers dissolved in the water will percolate deep into the soil, and these mineral salts will mix with the natural aquifers, the groundwater. Right? It will contaminate the groundwater. So groundwater pollution is going to increase. What is the other problem? These fertilizers mixed with the water that can drain into neighboring water bodies. In neighboring rivers, lakes, ponds, in neighboring water bodies, these fertilizer salts can go and settle. These fertilizer salts that will result in eutrophication, that will enrich the water's nutrients, that will result in algal bloom, more fungal growth, algae growth, and that is going to cause serious disastrous consequence in that aquatic ecosystem. Right. So these are some problems when fertilizers are not rightly applied, and these are going to be the consequences which are going to face. And over a period, what happens when the land is getting degraded, when the soil is becoming, when the soil fertility becomes affected, then the consequences that is going to affect the food production, right? So the food production will be affected. India's population is increasing, climate is changing. The climate change is adding more stress to our agriculture production. Another side, demand is increasing, population is increasing. We are becoming the most populous country in the world. So we need to produce more. When the soil fertility is getting affected, production is going to get affected. Then food security will be questioned. Another problem is because of such heavy subsidies given to the fertilizers, what happens? A lot of urea is being diverted for some other industries. The subsidies government gives to ensure that these subsidies are getting used by the farmers, needy farmers. But however, that heavily subsidized fertilizers are being diverted for the consumption of industries. So these are all the problems surrounding the usage of fertilizers. Right. So now, how to address this problem? What are the efforts taken by the government to address this problem? So, government was giving heavy subsidy for urea, okay, for the nitrogen-based fertilizer. But in 2010, government came with a new program called as nutrient-based subsidy, in which for the phosphorus and potassium based fertilizers also government started giving subsidies. So government is not discriminating between the fertilizers. For all the important NPK fertilizers, government is giving subsidies. So since phosphorus and potassium based fertilizer is available at a cheaper cost, now farmers is going to use it better. So there can be distribution in the usage of fertilizers. So one effort taken by the government. Second effort is to prevent the diversion of these fertilizers to the industries. Government came with an idea. A lot of urea was getting diverted to the industries. So government came with an idea of neem coated urea. This neem coated urea can be used only by the farmers for agriculture purpose. It cannot be used by industries. So now neem coated urea is the only urea which is being available at a subsidized price. So the diversion can be prevented. Another effort taken by the government to prevent the diversion is the fertilizer companies, the fertilizer producing companies, they will be given subsidies only when the fertilizer is directly sold to the farmers. Now, how to see this, whether it is directly sold to the farmers? So, government came with this point of sale mission. So, whenever a farmer is buying the fertilizer, the purchase will happen only to this point of sale mission. So, through point of sale mission, government can see whether it is being sold only to the farmers or not, because industries, they are not going to buy to this point of sale mission. So point of sale mission, if I am a farmer, I might buy a 40 kg bag or 50 kg bag. Industries, they will require in tons. Okay, so through this also government is trying to prevent the diversion of fertilizers to the industries. Apart from that, farmers require right amount of awareness. So through the soil health card scheme, through soil health card schemes at regular intervals, the government will measure the soil fertility of the farmland, and accordingly a card will be given. In that report card, government will suggest on what ratio farmer you should use the fertilizers in your specific land. See, India has a vast cultivable area, different climatic zone. Though we are saying 4:2:1 is the ideal ratio, that can be slightly modified based on the need of your soil. So based on the soil profile, government is suggesting what fertilizer in what ratio it can be applied. So this awareness will help the farmers to take an informed decision in the application of fertilizers. Apart from that, to bring in more awareness, we have in every district, we have Krishi Kalyan, farmers Kendras, Krishi Vigyan Kendras are being set up, right? In this Krishi Vigyan Kendras, government through these district level institutions, knowledge will be transferred to the farmers. So better awareness, better input strategies will be given to the farmers, so through which farmers can take informed decisions in application of fertilizers. Right? So these are efforts taken by the government to address the problems with respect to usage of fertilizers. But still the problem persists. The reason is the solution lies in effective enforcement. The solution is not just about planning and devising strategies, effective enforcement of these strategies. We should have some actionable, verifiable outcomes, right? So we have a plan, but whether we are enforcing it properly, whether that enforcement results in some verifiable outcomes, that is the point here. So government should focus on this area. So yes, we have Krishi Vigyan Kendra. Yes, we have soil health card scheme. We have other schemes. For example, government is now promoting organic farming, usage of organic fertilizers, biofertilizers, integrated nutrient management system. Through the system, government is promoting all these things. But however, where there is a behavioral change, whether farmers are realizing this and whether the farmers have realized and changed their behavior in the consumption of fertilizers, question mark. Whether government has enforced every initiative taken effectively, question mark. Government is enforcing it, but we need more effective enforcement, right? So all this has to be addressed, and government can also think about what about this direct benefit transfer program, DBT. Instead of giving subsidy on the fertilizers, government can give a amount directly transferred to the farmers. Then farmers, they can use that amount. So base soil health card scheme provides, okay Guna, in your soil you need to apply these in a particular ratio. So let's say my soil might require more phosphorus, more potassium. So if I have money in my hand, I can use that money for buying one particular fertilizer in excess, right? So one subsidy fitting for all India cannot be a proper solution, right? So we need to have a different strategy, different application of fertilizers in different areas. So this direct benefit transfer is something which we can consider, but however, this needs bank accounts. Every farmer should be having a bank account. However, the Jan Dhan Yojana, government was actively promoting the opening up of bank accounts by everyone. So assuming that all farmers are having bank account, government can come up with this direct benefit transfer program, right? And government should actively come up with more awareness program to ensure there is behavior change. See, fertilizer becomes very important. Fertilizer, if right usage of fertilizer will benefit all the stakeholders of society. How? So if right fertilizers are being used, the input cost for the farmers will come down. Right amount of fertilizers will help in crop production productivity. In a way, farmers' income is going to improve. When right amount of fertilizer is being used, then government spending on the subsidies can be reduced. So government's deficits can be reduced. Given the climate change, already the soil is getting degraded. With right amount of fertilizer usage, we can prevent the soil degradation. We can ensure food security. So the overall country can be benefited with right usage of fertilizer. So it is very imperative that we act on the right usage of fertilizer. So that is the idea of these editorials as well. That is what we are trying to provide as conclusion as well. So now, based on our discussion, let me give you a question. What are the key challenges associated with fertilizer subsidy issues in India? State the measures taken by the government to address these challenges. So it will be a 10-marker question. So you plan your answer for 150 words. I will see you tomorrow with another interesting editorial topic. Till then, bye. Take care.